Speaking of naked grown men, there was this one time when I was living with my friend, and his mom had this really bad habit of walking into our home just unannounced. Like, she wouldn't knock, nothing. She wouldn't tell us she was coming or anything. She would just come in because it was like a family home or whatever that we were renting from. We were paying money to live there, so I didn't expect anybody to just be walking into my home. But he was on his way to get into the shower, just nothing on, and his mom walks in the house and walks around the corner and sees him, and he just stands there and stares at her, and she's like, "Put some clothes on." He's like, "I'm in my house. Like, I don't have to do that." And he's just standing there looking at his mom, just... And she just keeps shielding her eyes and keeps looking back, like checking to see if he's gone to do anything yet. And he's just standing there completely naked. And so she's yelling at him, and he's yelling at her that he's not going to put clothes on. And then his grandma, who was our neighbor at the time, she hears the commotion and comes over. So... his grandma walks through the kitchen and is standing next to his mom looking at, and she's like, "Put clothes on." He's like, "Granny, no." And so we weren't children, we were grown men.
This was 3.5, 4 years ago at the most.
And
you forgot his defense mechanism.
I know.
Oh my God, it's the worst thing. His defense mechanism for the whole thing.
They wouldn't leave, so he was doing the whole when a man is naked and he were to twist his hips from left to right in a vigorous motion, there tends to be a sound from certain said pieces of man slapping against other pieces of the said man. So
pieces of man.
Yeah, pieces of man.
So beautiful.
So he's doing this to his mother and his grandmother because they will not leave. So his granny takes a rolled up newspaper and starts beating him in his bare ass while he is using his defense mechanism. And all this is just happening. I'm on the floor crying, laughing, watching the whole thing unfold.
And it gave you such a bad feeling, too. It's just like, because you wanted to laugh with everything in your being, but you wanted to hold it in because you're like, this isn't right.
It's not.
I'm seeing this in real life. This isn't a movie. Like,
oh, boy. So, well, if ends up listening to this, I just... Sorry, bud. Hey everybody, I'm Dane Holland, and every time I read the word epitome, I read it in my head first as epitome, and then have to correct myself before I move on to the next word.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and until this very moment, I didn't realize that I do the exact same thing, and I am shooketh.
I'm Marcus Whitaker. Straight up.
Head shake.
Just straight up.
That's it.
Just Marcus
That's
Whitaker.
it. That's all you need to know. That's all you're
know.
going to know. Who are you?
Well, I can't top that.
Well, now you have to. Every week you go after him, so you gotta get used
That was
to
good,
this,
though.
like,
That was good.
This professional level
I know.
of introduction of I need no other information.
I'm the rooster. Richard Laws.
So Richard is actually your nickname, and
Well, I'm
Rooster is
trying
your
it out
birth
now.
name.
I don't know. Who knows?
You sound like a Western movie star, like John Wayne or...
I love.
Thank you for
Rooster
doing finger
Laws.
guns when you said John Wayne, because I wouldn't have known who you were talking about.
Yeah. You needed the visual representation.
I was like, are you talking
Sadly,
about
none of
like
the
Batman's
audience will
dad?
get that.
That was Batman's dad, right? John Wayne.
John Wayne?
That, I think, technically.
Okay.
Was it really?
It's Bruce. Yeah, Bruce's dad, John.
Haven't you seen
Jonathan?
The Joker?
Jonathan Wayne? John Wayne?
I feel like you're lying to me right now.
Nope.
We are.
Oh, good.
It's Thomas.
I was like, I've never realized that. How?
Because you're an idiot. Yeah, let's start talking about things. I want to talk about nerd stuff. Oh wait, I gotta remember what we are. This is Nerd It Through the Grapevine. It's a podcast where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And we're going to do that now because I'm going to talk about what? Why are you shaking your head at me for?
You say that so smoothly.
I know. I'll never get over it.
It is just butter.
I know.
Congrats.
I was like, this is their tagline
I
for the
like
thing, and that's it officially.
Well
So,
done.
He practices when he poops.
I do, and I poop a lot.
So that
So
makes a lot.
much.
What you've said makes more sense than you know.
I mean, it's the smart thing to do.
Oh boy.
I mean, otherwise it's just a big 30-minute waste
Waste
of
of time. Yeah.
30 minutes. Oh, boy.
Yeah, you should.
He lied about CC's last week.
Let's talk about your fiber situation.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to talk about GameStop. Yeah. 'Cause I went there recently. I go there a lot, actually, just because they have good sales. On,
Which one?
I prefer the one on Jackson. There's more breathing room in
Yep.
there, which now is a very important thing to find places when there are other people. But yeah, the GameStop as a whole, I guess I'll just say what it is. For anybody that doesn't know what GameStop is, it's a gaming merchandise store that used to mainly only sell video games, and then they branched over to action figures and board games and stickers. I don't know. So, yeah, they have stickers now. Stickers.
That's how it came.
They sell a little bit of everything because for the longest time they were kind of the industry standard in video game sales of a standalone store, all the way from like 99 to 2004, 2006, maybe 2006. They were doing great. Like everything was awesome for them. They didn't really have a whole lot of competition for selling games and things like that. Like Toys R Us got into it a little while later. But their main practice is like people bringing in their used gaming, like games and game systems and things like that, and then giving you cash or store credit. And if you want store credit, you get, I don't know, like a sixth of what the game is worth, an eighth of what the game is worth, and if you want cash, you'd get pennies on the dollar, man. Like it's totally not worth it. But if people have these games sitting around just collecting dust, like there's no reason they don't want to keep them. They don't know where else to go with it because selling stuff on eBay is a headache, and then I don't know, putting it on some kind of local sales network like we have, you deal with sketchy people. So it's just easier just to scoop it up, put it in a bag, and take it to GameStop and just get what you can get out of it, which they fully take advantage of that mindset because they give you nothing for it. And then you use that towards buying a game there, a used game there that still costs, let's see, a used copy of Pokemon Sword or Shield for the Nintendo Switch is like $55. I think it's $54.99 because new it's $59.99, but at Walmart new it's $49.99. So you can get a brand new copy like in the same parking lot for $10 or for $5 less than you can get a used copy at a actual gaming store. Yeah, that practice is kind of that's something that a lot of people over the years have just gotten so tired of that they're like, I'm not even dealing with that company anymore because that's pretty crappy to do. But they operated at a lot of like gains from like all the way until 2006. But then around that time is whenever digital gaming started becoming more of a thing, like being able to download digital codes for games. So the need for physical copies of games like started to go away because now I on your system, you just have all of your games already logged on there. Like you don't have to deal with taking discs out and everything like that. And the possibility of scratching a disc, like, and then the game's ruined. If you've got it saved to some cloud saving system or file system, then you've got it forever. But then there's also the chance of certain gaming servers going down eventually, and the logs of all the games you have could, in a awful situation, just vanish. And people have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in games, like on these like online systems. So if you don't have the physical copy of it, then it could be gone. So you're just kind of trusting the system that that's not going to happen. But yeah, once that happened, GameStop started operating at a loss and big time, to the point of closing a lot of stores.
Really?
Yes. And then whenever the pandemic happened, which is still happening, but
Right.
it was even worse for them. Like, and they, to the point where they were keeping stores open whenever like the lockdowns were happening, saying only essential businesses can stay open right now. And they were like using some workarounds to be like, no, we're an essential business. We got to stay open.
I mean, in this day and age, they kind of are, aren't they?
They're keeping people at home.
What else are we gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. So
Can't go outside.
but the thing is, like, if they eventually did have to close it down, but I think it was only for a couple weeks as opposed to like a whole month. But yeah, with them not operating, like they could not continue because they're already operating at a loss right now. Like, so from being the top of the industry standard for years to, and all it took was digital, like, to take this company, and like they're under right now. They actually got Reggie Fils-Aimé. Does that name mean anything to any of you?
Not one
Nope.
thing.
Nothing. Not a one thing.
Reggie Miller.
That yeah.
I like him.
Almost.
He was great.
Or Reggie, you ever been with a man you want to? Off of Bad Boys.
Huh.
Thanks, bud. And
Scene.
what was that? Yeah.
I did it.
We
Now I'm
all
running through
sat
that
there. I
movie.
know. We're like, whoa.
I'm like, oh yeah, when the guy comes to the door for the daughter for the day. Yeah. I remember that.
Reggie, you ever been with a man you want to?
You just said that. I remember.
Oh, it's my favorite part of the entire movie.
Okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Reggie Fils-Aimé. He was the president and COO of Nintendo America for a long time, and he recently stepped down from that, and now he's on the board of directors for GameStop. So they're hoping, I think, to get some insight from him for how successful Nintendo has become, especially with the Switch. And speaking of that, like during the pandemic, Nintendo Switch is like completely out of stock everywhere.
Wow.
Just because Animal Crossing came out, like New Horizons came out whenever like the pandemic pretty much started. Like the timing of it was spot on. Well, when the pandemic started and we were doing anything about it, that's whenever that game came out. And everybody was already excited for it anyway. And all of a sudden you hear, oh, we're going to be in our homes for a month. I got to get this. And I luckily got it right before everything went to hell. So I was able to get one. And then they weren't. Are you trying to sneak a message to me on your phone?
No.
What are you doing, man?
That was not a convincing no.
No, it wasn't
at all.
No, neither was the
Trying to
face.
set it
don't
down
believe
without
you.
making any noise.
Oh, that's a first.
Then I realized anywhere I put it, it's going to make noise. So I was trying to go down slowly.
It's like when somebody acts
So that
slightly
nobody would
differently
hear.
from the way they're always acting. And then you're like, something's wrong. What's wrong? What are you doing differently?
You look
What's up?
sneaky, which is normal for you.
Well, thank
But
you.
you were staring at me in the eyes while you were doing it, which is why I was a
I
little
was listening.
Ah, with your eyes.
Yes.
I like it.
Smiling, nodding,
You're welcome.
listening.
I like it very good.
Intently, yeah.
Like this.
Anyway,
I have a question.
what?
So isn't it kind of standard practice for like places to do that though? Like do they have just like a much higher ratio between like what you give them and what they give you?
Oh yeah,
than
that's
other
normal.
places.
That's
'Cause, like,
totally normal. But I think it's the reselling price that is the issue. I think.
So they're trying to rake as much as they can in.
Yes.
By
yeah.
reselling.
Yeah, they're trying to get the absolute rock bottom for what they give from what compared to what they're selling the games for. Like if I give them a game or I trade in a game and they give me $3, you look on the shelf the next day and it's selling for $35 or something like that. Like
Right.
that's where the issue comes in, because that is such a large gap,
Right.
that it doesn't make sense from a consumer standpoint. From a business standpoint, it's
It makes
absolutely
perfect sense.
genius. Yeah,
Right.
it's absolutely genius. Like, why would I not put $3 down towards a new game? And sometimes they do deals to where if a new game's coming out and you want to like pre-order it or something like that, your trade-ins are worth like maybe 50% more or something like that.
yeah.
So a lot of people end up, that's whenever they do it. And I've done that in the past too, and gotten some pretty good deals because they were newer games that I had, but certain games lose their value similar to like a car. Like you buy a car, drive it off the lot, all of a sudden it's worth half of what you paid for it.
Hey, thank God for that sometimes, because that's the only way that I play some video
Me
games is
too.
by
Well-
getting them at GameStop.
Oh, yeah.
Because I will wait until I've almost forgotten about this game. I'm going to go to GameStop, see what they've got in that used section. That's what happened with Bloodborne. And I chewed my lips raw playing that game on your couch because I was so into it. $12.99.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good
exactly.
deal.
And if you get super hyped whenever something like comes out, you pay $60. And now with the newest, with the PS5 and the Xbox One X, is that what they're calling this one?
That's going to be
Or is that the
confusing.
last one?
Xbox One X?
Yeah. I always forget. I remember. I'll remember Project Scarlet. Like that's what they wanted to. That was kind of like the working name for it. It wasn't the actual name of it, but is it the One X? What are
I
you
honestly
doing?
don't know.
He was burping.
Thank you. He knows.
He was burping and being polite.
I'm trying to be polite this whole time.
Quit it.
And
It's
instead,
weird for you. I don't like it.
they get mad at me with my elbow. You want to-
Quit
There.
knocking
Is that
the table,
better?
you
Is that
idiots.
better? You just hit
make
everything.
it, Rooster, let's make it our goal to make editing as hard as possible
Yeah, listen.
for him.
That's my pin.
I'm sure he'll fart at some point.
Oh, I'm not gassy today. I'm sorry.
You guys make my job so easy here. What were, it's early. Plus,
See, I found out that you have to stay like 8 years behind when it comes to video games because
Whoa.
that's how you get it. That's how you can do it on a budget.
8 years.
Like 8 years. Just stay about 8 years behind.
Have you played Skyrim yet?
yes, on
I was
every
saying,
platform
yeah.
possible. That's a game. Skyrim is a game that I had. GameStop knows me well, probably from just going in there and buying copies of Skyrim because I'll get it for. I've owned it for Xbox, for
Yep.
PlayStation. I've got it for PC. I think I owned it for PlayStation 3 times because I get it. I play it. I'll my
until you
favorite
can't
part-
stand it anymore.
Yeah, because my favorite part is making characters. Like I've realized that's my favorite part of any video game. Like I'll play through it the first time, it's amazing, but then my replays just involve me making new characters and going, okay, this time I'm going to role play with this character as some kind of craftsman. That the only weapons I use, like I'm a smith in the game, so the only weapons I'll ever use are ones that I'll make in the
Yep.
game, which sets yourself a limitation because you know it so well. You've played it for so many hours. It's kind of boring to go through and just find the best stuff and just wipe through the game.
Didn't
So-
you play as like a naturalist one time that would only eat stuff that you harvested?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love making restrictions
Yeah.
like
Did
that.
you
It
build
makes
your
it so much
Did you
more
build
fun.
your house and stuff? Did you get
No,
the
I've
expansions?
got. I
where
have
you-
that expansion to where you can then do that, but I didn't get that far because
I
I wanted to
nerded
make
out so
another
hard on that.
character. I wanted to make another
You gave up
character
too quick.
already.
I've always wanted to start an ESO, like a new character on ESO, and just strictly be like a drunk person that hangs out at the dock right when you get to Tamriel and just begs for money.
Yeah, so it's Elder Scrolls Online,
yes.
correct? Or
Yes.
Elder Scroats.
Oh,
We're bringing it back.
I hope we keep
Who did
bringing
that one?
one back. That was you.
I don't
Just-
That was me?
Just don't look up Elder Scroats online. Please, Lord, have mercy. Don't do that.
My phone would autocorrect.
But
So-
I'm with you on being behind on games because although Cyberpunk 2077 is like the only pre-order I've done since, I honestly can't think of the last one that I did. Like, so it's one that I'm really excited about. But everything else, I
There's
just
few games.
Isn't
Few
that
games.
is that
I
the
just
Keanu
wait.
Reeves game?
yeah. He's a side character in it, like a person in your head, because he's been long dead for a lot of years. Spoiler.
No, he's not.
Sorry. Oh yeah, Johnny Silverhand is his name. He's a musician. Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk
Keanu
more about that
Reeves'
after it comes
name.
out.
You could have been lying to me the
It's a
whole
sci- yeah, it's a
time.
cyberpunk
It's very
thing.
convincing.
Love that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's in my eyes.
You're also a liar.
I am. Biggest one you know.
No.
I was going to say something to you specifically, Rooster, but
I'm ready for it.
you
Go.
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ooh, boy, do I remember what it was, though.
I can see it. You know.
Early and my coffee's just now kicking in.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. That's okay. That's fine.
It's about Reggie.
Oh, I was going to ask about Madden. So Madden is a game that every year is $60 when it comes out. Soon to
I
be
paid
probably
100
70 or
for
80.
it this year
Why?
to get all the extra stuff that came with it.
pay to win.
Well, see, I was going to ask
I'm sorry.
because Madden's one of those games that they have to they put one out every single year, which they don't have to. No one told them they did. They just
I bet
decided
somebody did.
this is the
It's clever.
standard. Well, they've been doing it ever since what 1995,
94, 95, somewhere around there.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's like the longest every
Continual.
continuous game like ever made.
Do your
But-
people crave those games every year now?
Your people?
Mormons?
Fantastic. fantastic.
Oh boy.
No, the people that play Madden.
Do we crave those games every year?
Now that you know that they're released every year, like
Oh yeah.
Well, it's always the same thing.
Well,
oh my.
it's not the exact same thing. They update the engines. The physics work differently.
How do those engines sound like?
Put it away! Put it away! Skirt.
Continue. Sorry.
Oh, no, not
He said
again.
button in the top button.
Great. Now they know. No, they do. They upgrade. They have different animations, which I know could just be like an upgrade that you do online to get different animations.
Or the roster updates too.
Roster updates. They do roster updates every. Thing is,
Right.
it's there's a lot of information that goes into the game that they update every week. Every week. I mean, all the stats are updated. Their ratings are adjusted based on the season. I mean, there's so much that goes into it every week that after a while, I mean, I just feel like you need a new game. You need a completely new setup.
So if I were to put in like Madden 2018 and upload the newest roster, would that work? Would that happen?
You can.
You
Yes.
can.
There are
It's
people that do
just
that.
The,
yes.
the body models and the face models of
NCAA
like rookies wouldn't be in there.
NCAA 2013, I think, is what the last one that was made.
Right.
College football
Yeah.
game. And people still buy that game and update it with the current college rosters all the time. Like, there's like a committee online of people that are like designated for it.
Really?
Yes. It's just a community of people that do it for free.
See? And they could just do that with Madden. Madden could just stop and be like, okay, 2020 is the
There's
last
tons
one
of
we're
people
doing.
that do that.
We're going to leave it to online to
The
take
the
care
thing
of.
is, Madden, like, it's the ultimate team that's big in Madden now. It's
Oh,
not
that's-
necessarily anything else.
that's
And so,
their
I mean,
collections and
it's
stuff.
the online gaming
That's their
portion of it.
version of loot boxes,
Right.
right? To where you open up packs
Correct.
and you get players.
That's why I
that you
paid
can add.
$100 because I got extra packs. Buying it from Walmart, I got a Ravens legendary pack. So I got like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, and Shannon Sharp, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And it was just from buying it from Walmart.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've enjoyed Madden in the past, but I'm not on the, good, the game came out again this year. I'm going to go buy it immediately.
Yeah,
But
it's all about online gaming right now.
well-
like that's what it's about now.
Okay.
In the past, it was more about, hey, we upgraded this game and it's amazing.
Right.
Like, because
and more like couch co-op, because that's
Yeah.
another thing that's not as common anymore, as opposed to, why would I have you come over to my house and sit with me when I
the
can just
the things
log
they
on
fix
and
the
do it?
most is the online gaming every year. That's what they update.
And to circle back, that's the killer of GameStop as well.
Yep.
And their kind of their practices that they have with the whole like give you pennies and then sell it for tens of
Plus,
dollars.
they always have something going on. They always want you to get a card or
And meme culture.
rewards.
Meme culture for sure has probably had an impact on them because that influence. Have you not seen all the GameStop memes and stuff? It's almost the same thing as as like the Pawn Stars memes. The best I can do is
yeah, very small amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the digital age is killing that company, but I think I don't know if I'll blame the digital age for it. I think I'll kind of blame the company for it, just because their response wasn't very good to that.
what can you respond though? I mean, how do you really respond?
I
to
really
it?
don't know. I don't know if it's like possibly making the company more of a place to gather for gamers to come, like, because I know that's something that they've said that they want to do more of, is like have more like collaborations with gaming communities, like to come have.
Connecting Madden with this, right? So every year when Madden comes out,
Yeah.
GameStop holds a tournament.
Okay.
Midnight. So they have a big release. It's real popular. People will go up there, and there'll be like 50 people will play in a Madden tournament at midnight the day the game comes out.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, I don't know many other games that they do stuff like that for.
Well,
Maybe fighting
There-
games.
there's
Maybe
there's other
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, a lot of games like that. But they'll do that.
I'm sure they do like Call of Duty and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I'm sure there's tons.
Yeah.
I only do the Madden ones. Or
Right.
I don't do it anymore, but I used to do the Madden ones
and
all the time.
that's more of a release day event, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. They only do it. But I'm saying they could continue that. Like
Right.
that would be something
Right.
they could do. Charge people $10 to get in, pocket $2. Give
There's
what-
just
you know.
this weird, without the employees, because the employees that work at the Cookville stores, like that's the reason I still go to those GameStops here.
Super nice
because they're
people.
so nice. Like they remember me. I haven't been in there. There's a point where I hadn't gone in there in like 2 years, and the guys there still remember me from my voice. Like when I called on the phone asking if they had something, like they knew who I was, and they have this really good customer service like connection. But that's not throughout the entire company, because I've been to other ones that I just like, I don't want to be there.
Because of you.
Yeah. It almost these guys almost make it feel like a small business, which is really cool. Because it's hard to get that feeling in a big chain company, especially one like GameStop. But I'm going to stop talking about GameStop now. So
That's sad.
is that okay? I'm sorry, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I'm just going along over time. I'm going over time. I'm looking at the time here, and
What
I'm going
time?
over it.
Edit.
The time.
Edit the time.
Just cut out half of that.
Yep.
Just edit the
I'll just cut
time.
out half
Just
of that.
leave him on edge. Just
Who
don't
was-
bring the conversation to a conclusion.
Who's going to?
I want to know about lore.
Yeah, give me
Yeah.
lore. Give me some lore. The rooster told us he was going to talk about some lore.
Please.
I was going to tell a joke right there, but
Go
I
on.
stopped.
No, you can continue.
No,
you made
no.
one joke today already, and that is enough.
Yeah, it was a good one though.
That was a
I got
great
you
one.
good.
I couldn't stop laughing
Yeah, I
for a
know.
long time.
I
was
didn't know if
quick.
I was going to be able to gain control of myself.
My eyes still hurt from holding it back.
Yeah, I can see it.
Mine don't hurt at all.
Bulging out of his skull.
I don't think I laughed.
No, you
Okay.
didn't. I'm going to get you to spill that coffee though.
No.
Give me time.
Tell me about lore.
Well, I actually just want to talk to you guys about it and see where it goes.
I love talking to you guys.
Can we talk about Game of Thrones, please?
No.
No, I knew it. See, that's why I wanted to talk about it. That's why I wanted to
and we're
talk about
talking
it.
about Game of Thrones. Well, you're
No.
right. We should get it out of the way.
No, let's
I
just do
agree
it.
100% because
Let's just no books.
Why?
No books.
Why?
Has everyone read
Are
the
we
books?
just-
not, for
No.
your topic, no books.
Okay.
But I happen to have a very similar topic. So let's go.
Ooh.
Oh,
Do you guys
man.
want to just
This is
fuse
a perfect
those?
segue. Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Because mine is honestly just I wanted to complain about the show and get it out of the way.
For real?
Yeah.
This is
This
perfect.
is perfect.
first fusion segment of Nerd It Through the Grapevine.
Vroom, vroom.
Air horn.
All right.
Good.
First
I'm so
fusion
happy
segment.
we're doing this because I wanted to get it out of the way too.
Yeah, me too. Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad because I've been holding this in.
Yeah,
This
me
is
too.
perfect
have
since
been.
I went over in time. You guys can fuse yours.
I'm
to
still
just-
mourning.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Tell
Can we
me
just
about.
talk at the same time?
The notes have hit the floor.
We're done with
It's
them.
getting real.
Yeah.
It's about to.
Go.
Okay. I loved how I was introduced to it. And when I got introduced to it, I fell in love. I did. You introduced me to the books, I believe. I think you're the one that got me to read them. All right, I'll get closer.
I'm holding his mic up to his face because I want
Right there.
to hear this.
I know.
Oh, that's good. That's a really good spot for you.
You're very welcome.
We're all helping.
Yeah,
Here, I'm
you
just
got to
gonna
move
turn
there.
that. I'm actually just going to turn that off.
How about now?
Okay. Yep. Go.
Talk from the right side.
Yep. You got it. It's perfect.
The only bad thing about the show.
Whoa, that's going to be very hard to narrow
It's gonna
down.
be controversial. I can already
it's
tell.
very-
Let's
yeah,
go.
We're going to have our first
The
disagreement.
only unforgivable bad thing about the show. How
It's
about
the
that?
final season. And that's it.
So-
Not
but-
even the
End of
entire final season. I think there's parts of it that I agree with.
Episode 2 in the
Oh,
final season was
oh.
great.
The,
Yes,
battle
that's
of,
great.
the Battle of Winterfell.
No, the one before that.
Can one of you get
That one was garbage. Can you do your hot steaming garbage thing?
No,
because
no,
that's what it was.
No, I disagree.
Okay, this is great.
I disagree
This is
with
good.
that.
I will
I'm
forward
not
this.
going to say it's the
Now,
greatest.
before we talk about agreements and disagreements and stuff
moderate.
like that, huh?
You're gonna have to
I get to
moderate
moderate.
this, yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Or you too. And
Just beat the table with the water
Well,
bottle.
it's my turn.
I'm
I can
loving
do
that he's
what
doing
I
it because that
want
means
to
he's
say.
into it, baby. He is into it.
We need to, for anyone who hasn't seen or heard of Game of Thrones, can one of you give a 2-sentence
It was the biggest show of all time. And if you didn't watch it, go watch it.
It's based off of a book series, and you should read the books.
Yes.
But also watch the
I still know
movie.
nothing about Game of Thrones yet.
We're about to learn a lot about it. You
It
just
is-
wait.
It is a
No.
It is a fantasy world set in a medieval time that puts houses against houses,
Which is beautiful.
to
Yeah, they're like anthropomorphic. It's really weird. Like there's like this house that walks around, like it's got
houses of
like
lineage.
these concrete legs.
Their lineage.
And the windows open up to his eyes.
See, yeah, that is harder than I thought it would be.
See, in the Game of Thrones is actually there's a throne inside one of the
It's
houses.
Eurocentric medieval fantasy. That's basically, but it's done better than it's ever been done before.
Ever.
With incest.
Exactly.
Plenty of it.
That's
Well, they're
the
trying
main
to stay
story.
true to
History.
See, that's one of the beautiful things, I think, not the incest, but like Jamie Lannister himself.
Oh, yeah.
Like that character, like the evolution of him throughout the entire show, brilliant.
Through the
Well,
entire show?
Entire show? Even
Yes,
the end?
even the end,
Okay.
even the end.
Finish your thoughts.
That's
because
it?
I have something to say about
That's
that.
it.
Yes.
What do you?
Yes.
What is wrong with
that
how
was
he
the
ended?
Marcus equivalent of "Are you done?"
Yeah. Because I feel like I love Jamie. I love Jamie.
Do you,
He's
though?
one of the best characters in the books by far. 'Cause
Agreed.
the first 2 books, you don't get his point of view. You hate him. And
Same
then
thing in
third
the
book,
movie,
you
or
pick it
show.
up. Yeah, but in the book, I laughed so much harder at what he would say. Like him and Brienne just start their relationship, as him as her prisoner, and you're just cackling in the book at the things he comes up with to say to her to get under her skin.
Nerd.
It is great.
Laughing at a book.
Oh, I know. It was amazing.
Words on a page. Laughing. You idiot.
Anyway, in the show, this is where it's going to get a little controversial because I feel like they ruined him by making him basically date rape Brienne
Yeah.
and then just leave her for Cersei.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't okay with that at all.
No.
What about that is out of character?
Well, if they're going for the redemption arc, like
Were
they
they?
seem,
What is
I don't know.
what is redeeming?
Here's the thing.
about Game
I
of
don't
Thrones?
know what they were going for
What's
because they didn't
redeeming?
make it clear.
But what's redeeming about
If
it?
he would have just knighted her and maybe they could have made out a little bit and he could have done, but no, he crushed her. Her whole thing was people have always laughed at her, Brienne the uglier, I forget her name, but Renly, the reason she loved him so much is because he was like this high lord. He was beautifully dressed. Everybody always, he was the king, brother of the king. And so he saw them all making fun of her, and then he comes and dances with her, and like that was her whole thing.
Right.
He saved her in a way from that kind of humiliation. And I don't know. That crushed me. Like I want to cry right now for Brienne.
But Jamie was a master of sex, man. He just passed down his lineage to her with that.
So
That's
I
where it
get-
gets
But it
interesting.
was nice. It was nice when she finishes his pages in the White Book.
Right.
But I still can't square the fact that he did that to her.
But I
That-
get your point of
Yes,
he ended up being who he always was.
Yes.
Even though
that is who he was.
Even
because
though the whole reason he lost his hand was to change him and to make him more... He was the most misunderstood person of all time.
But
Yeah.
I think
Was he
that's-
though?
yes.
No,
He was.
That's the thing. We misunderstand like his past because all you hear about is the bad. He's a kingslayer. Then you progressively learn. Well, he's not actually a kingslayer. He actually saved a lot of people by murdering this person. But just because he makes a good action doesn't make him a good person.
No, it doesn't.
And I think we're so used to redemption that we insert
You want
it. We want it and we insert it into places, even if the story's leading us to that, like resolution. It doesn't happen here because I think they almost made him more human
Yes.
because
He lived in the moment of that decision and nothing else.
Yeah,
anything else, nothing else mattered. He got reignited. He had those feelings again, and he acted on them. Nothing else.
Maybe my complaint is they turned him from a character that I deeply respected to one that I do not.
Or maybe
anymore.
they-
So maybe that's why
No,
I'm hurt.
maybe-
And I just don't like that. I wish
Maybe.
they had not ruined Jamie.
Maybe they tricked you into
Well-
liking him, and then when they revealed who he actually is, you're like,
If that's the case, then they lied, and
Yes.
that's not good writing.
right. Yeah.
They lied, and that's
But
not
it
good writing.
Isn't it all a lie because it's a fantasy?
no,
Fantasy is real, man.
it's so real.
yeah, this is history.
Magic
But
is real.
I think it's one of those kind of scenarios to where who was the little dickhead kid that was the king?
Joffrey.
Is it
Joffrey.
Joffrey? Thank you. It's been so long since I've watched it.
Tyrion.
I've kind of the way the show ended. Yeah, the way the show ended, it made me just go like, okay, etch a sketch in my brain of Game of Thrones, and just kind of wipe the
You're
slate.
saying
Oh, gosh, I
like the
know.
way Daenerys. act. Is that what you're saying?
But I've read the books like 3 times, so I can't do
You
that.
can't. No, it's logged in your brain forever. But Joffrey, his story and the kid playing him, like they made you despise that character.
Oh, he was so great.
Like I hate this character, but that's the thing. You hate this character, and it's so great that it like brings that response to you.
It was beautifully done.
It was so
amazing.
it was so well done. And I think with Jamie, like you went from loving this character, like respecting this character, to hating this character because of the actions, because of this like fictional writing of this being. I think that says a lot about the writing. Like the lies aren't like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because you don't like the response that you got from it, but it gave you a response.
Yeah.
Like you weren't blank to it. You weren't just frustrated because it was badly written.
Yeah, I just don't think it works. I don't think it works when he does that to Brienne, and then she still feels this like loyalty to him to be able to finish his book like he always wanted.
That's who she was.
That's who
though.
she was.
She was
Everything she did, she was loyal to the
a
end.
fault.
Like,
Yeah.
to an extreme fault.
Yeah.
So people that treat her poorly, like she still ends up, like she would still end up doing the right thing, quote unquote, like because she is one of the only noble characters in the entire show, at least. I haven't read the books, but in the show, as far as being noble and being a person of your word and of your duty, she's one of the few in there that
If you think of a knight, you think of her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly,
that's the best.
like,
I mean, it really
Which is why that scene was so powerful. I
Right.
mean, it was just like perfect. Like they had to have gotten that from Martin himself. I suspect. But yeah, I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way for sure. But
I
do
think
you have
that's
any more
the beauty
lore?
of it,
Because
though.
we're spending a lot of time on Jamie. I
That's fine though. This is the whole. This is the
Yeah.
point of this. That's
Well,
the
yeah,
whole.
no,
I
it's
mean,
good.
that's it. Like
this could
is.
pop up multiple times
Oh, it's
in the
going to.
future.
No,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
We're going to probably disagree on everything.
I think it's undebatable for most people, at least. -1. I'm not going to name any names, but you know who you are, girl, and you wrong.
Oh no, a
Daenerys?
call out.
Targaryen.
I think it's a real person.
Oh,
Oh, it is a real person. Does she know who she is?
Continue.
Trudy.
No,
Oh, good.
Never.
never. The last episode,
No.
hot,
Here it comes.
stinking,
Thank you.
fecal,
That's good. I don't know where it's going.
garbage.
Oh, it was garbage. That was the last one.
I mean, it was absolutely just it hurt me to see this grand story come to a conclusion that seemed like it was a frayed knot that hadn't got all the ends burnt. You know, it wasn't quite smoothed. It I mean, I liked some parts of it. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I kind of thought it was cool that Bran got, you know, what he got. That was neat.
Okay.
But it was kind of at the same. I mean, neat.
Okay.
The writers wanted it to be done. They just wanted it over with.
That was their escape plan that we just watched.
But
Yeah.
the thing that like even mid show that I'm sitting there like talking and we don't talk when we watch this show and I'm sitting there talking to myself like he literally just said you don't speak prisoner and then here's your 20-minute monologue. It makes no sense.
There's so many things that made no sense about that episode. And it
Daenerys.
was definitely the worst episode of the show. But I feel like there was a lot of unwatchable stuff.
Let's address
up
this
until that.
Daenerys issue that he has, please.
Daenerys,
Go ahead.
to me, I mean, she unraveled the entire half of the season. Like, it just it's like I don't know.
What unraveled about her?
I think it was a culmination.
Her entire character.
Well, it wasn't even an unraveling of it. It was more or less like a culmination of all of her past events coming to a spearhead, and she had 2 different directions it could have flown, and it just didn't. It
Flown like dragons.
Yeah. See.
Dane's training to become a dragon.
Good one.
Me dragging my anyway.
Sorry.
So, but it didn't take the direction that I wanted it to go, and it's probably what a lot of people wanted it to go. Is you wanted her to be that that more righteous person, that more.
At what point was she righteous?
Not
in the
at-
show.
I mean, she did a lot of things for her own selfish reasons. That was like she wanted to be.
So why do you think she would have done a righteous thing if she's not been righteous the whole time?
I just thought that her approach would have been a little bit more tame, a little bit more understanding
Why?
or something.
Because she's done the same approach in every episode to every city.
No, she's never killed innocent women and children.
Well, she
Millions of them. She committed
that
genocide.
that was the like I don't like that was the revelation.
She
of
committed
who she
genocide and then asked us
Yes.
to be like, well, they don't get to choose. No, her whole time was being like a benevolent.
But then
She was
during
ruthless.
that
She
moment-
had her times of ruthlessness.
during that time, though, like during that last episode, do you not think she realizes that the people don't want her, and that kind of offends her? And at that moment, she just kind of snaps.
Yeah, and you know what? This will probably happen in the books. But the execution was just not there. They needed 2 more seasons to set that up.
Well, we do need to mention that the show went past the books as
Yeah,
well.
correct.
So
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the source material, which I mean, they were still in like
Contact with him
with
and-
George Martin,
right.
like what they
But
were doing.
I'm not so sure how much that was. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there was some,
Well,
kind of some bad blood.
They
between,
got the job because they knew the ending.
Well, they didn't know the ending. They knew who Jon Snow's mother was.
Well, sorry. That's correct. They got that one.
Mm-hmm.
But like they also had the discussions with him about how it was going to end.
Yeah,
And so
at some point, I think,
they
yeah.
knew the ultimate
but-
end
but-
game,
but what you
and they
gotta
were
see
able to
is-
fill in the gaps.
But he was
from-
probably just giving cliff note. I mean, he's giving like
Well, that's what I'm
bullet
saying.
points.
I mean, what I'm saying
but
is
he
he-
still hasn't written it yet, so
Right.
he doesn't really know.
But what I'm saying is they knew that Daenerys was going to end this way.
yeah,
And then
I
they
think
just
so.
had to.
They had to just skip to it.
They had one
And it
season
just
to get
didn't
to it.
work.
I think
it didn't work.
I think they wanted to skip out on a lot of creativity in that season 2 that they could have used because, in all honesty, finding out that Jon is a Targaryen and releasing all that, and they had just wide open source material they could have used. By God, man, I waited like
Worthless.
like watching Smallville and waiting for Clark Kent to fucking fly. That's the exact same thing that I went through watching, knowing that Jon Snow is actually a Targaryen, and when is he going to get burned by this dragon, and this black hair that he's had his entire life just go like flush white when is like something like that.
You thought that was going to happen?
Okay, that's an interesting. There's some book theories that we could go over about
book
that.
theories are crazy.
It's stuff
They're
that we
good. I
that
love
we
it.
had
White hair
talked
part,
about,
the
like
white hair.
all these cool ways of finding out, like that John is that, and
I'm gonna yell at the dragon.
Oh my god, that
Yeah.
episode. And I'm sorry, I know this may be controversial too, but Arya does not kill the Night King. She would never. Nope. That's Jon's job. Sorry,
Why is it John's job?
He's the
because
man,
Jon's
and I'm-
entire story. No, it has nothing to do with that. Jon's entire story had to do with that. And you know, Jon doesn't have to kill him. It's not an issue of, oh well, Jon's the hero, so he has to win. No, I wouldn't have cared if Jon had gotten killed by the Night King.
Can you tell me?
As long as his
one-
story deals with that. Arya's story had nothing to do with that. She was on the other side of the world.
Okay. What's one thing that happened in the show, as far as like prophecy wise, that was correct? That happened.
I mean, that
None of them.
well,
None of them
because
happened.
prophecy is
Right.
not presented
that-
as like the. You
That's
know what I mean?
what-
Like it's,
see,
it's
I'm
you're
saying
supposed to question it.
That's what this story
Melisandre
is
said,
telling, though.
She said, "I'm going to show you these boobies,"
Oh.
and she showed you those boobies.
Okay.
So that prophecy was fulfilled.
prophecy fulfilled.
Both of them.
I'm saying that the art of the writing is that these prophecies are meant to mislead people. Like that's
Exactly.
that's
Sorry, I was
the
trying to say that a minute ago.
That's the whole idea of the stories. Like every story, because when you go back in time with Bran, you realize, man, all these stories that we hear about this history is wrong. Like everything. You hear this the guy that's really Eddard. You hear about him killing what is the guy?
Sword of the Morning?
Sword of the Morning. Yeah.
Arthur Dane.
And you hear about
that's
this
me.
and oh,
Yeah,
it is.
That's me.
House
It's
Dane.
spelled Dayne in
No,
the books.
Dane.
I've known a Dayne before. I told him he was wrong.
He is wrong.
We never spoke again.
That was the end of that
Yeah.
discussion.
I think the themes in the book of this whole, like, there is no redemption for some of these characters, like they are at their core garbage people.
Yes.
Or the growth of some characters just kind of stopping at a certain point. Like I think they try with Martin, like I think he tries to put a lot of realism in these characters,
Oh,
like
yeah.
because people don't have these
Epic
heroic
stories
epic
every
stories.
single
They
day.
always like
Yeah.
a lot of times it doesn't go the way you want it to.
Right. Which is why
But-
Jon's ending is actually kind of beautiful.
Oh, it's the greatest ending.
And I'm
I'll
pretty
love
sure
it.
that's where Martin's going. And it completely subverts the the archetype,
Yeah.
like the ranger who becomes king, or who's the one true king becomes king. Instead, it's the ranger who's actually king is just a ranger.
It's just a ranger.
And
And it's beautiful.
it is.
And everybody's going to hate him
But they
for
just
his
didn't.
entire
They
life.
didn't get it right. They were too rushed to get it on
That's the
Star
thing.
Wars.
I think the story, like the message and the story itself, is
They should have given it over to other writers to continue the show.
like it's still there, but the pace in which it was delivered is the biggest issue.
It was terrible.
Because it just boom, boom, boom.
So you're not
Everything happens
upset
at the
with
end.
the actual ending. You're just upset with the process they took to get there.
Yeah, it has nothing. I mean,
So you agree
sure,
that
I have expectations, but I mean, I expected the reason I like got into the series really hard is because I watched the first season,
Yep.
and spoiler, Ned gets his head cut off.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, from that moment, I'm like, oh my gosh. And so Rob naturally becomes my favorite character. And then finally, I passed the show in the books.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Lots of spoilers.
Oh yeah,
So, of course.
for the last
did I
25
want-
minutes.
Did I want Rob to meet that fate? No, I didn't. And he died twice because they killed his goat. They killed Grey Wind as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob got his
Oh.
head cut off twice.
I don't think
night.
they ever addressed that in the show that when they die, they.
Yeah, well, Rob. I don't even think Rob was like technically had magic powers in the show, but
Yeah.
he does in the books. Spoiler.
Well, the whole family.
But anyway,
does.
I didn't want Rob to die. I was crushed. I actually physically threw my book across the room.
Yeah.
When that happened.
That's how great it was in the beginning.
Exactly.
And I
But
think
it's
that
amazing.
was the thing.
And I would
though.
never change that because
Right.
it's one of the things. And so it's not that. It's not like, oh, I have this like hero-ish fantasy fulfillment thing that I want John to kill the Night King because that's what happens. The good guys always win, you know? I would have loved it if the others would have actually had a story in the show, and like when they were coming up on the werewood tree at the end and Bran's sitting there, I wanted them to take, I just think this would have been way better than whatever they did, to actually communicate with everybody through Bran and like lay out their terms and just start axing people. And I've had this vision of Sam trying to get to Gilly because they want the child. That's the whole reason they followed the Night's Watch in the beginning anyway. So they take him away, and Sam tries to like defend him, and whoosh, done. Sam's gone. You know, nothing happened. It was like, not that I want Sam to die.
Yeah, that's
It's-
dark.
It's like they wanted to tie the bow tie, but they got frustrated with the ribbon, so they crumpled it up and just put a piece of tape on it.
Yeah. Like I wanted the and that's the thing. Like I'm not going to get caught up in what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm not one of those delusional, like Star Wars fans that are like, oh, Luke should have had this epic big battle.
That's
like,
an hour-long episode.
That's a long one. All of our episodes are an hour long.
And see,
Are they?
I may disagree with that one too. But
What?
I disagree. Like
Where is this
I
going?
I liked how that. Yeah, that's a whole.
yeah, we can get on that.
We're
some other
stopping
time.
that conversation right now. But
I can't even look at him.
but back to what I wanted to happen. But the themes of the show and the way everything was going, it made sense almost for the Night King to win.
Yes,
Like-
yes, it did.
Because while all of these people in all these houses are feuding, none of it matters because you have this like god of death, basically, like raising this army of everyone. While these wars are happening, he can have these dead soldiers for himself. So the whole message of these feuds matter not. Like it does not matter because he is going to win. I think that would have been like it would have made sense with the theme as well, right? I mean, of like doing all of this work and trying to make things better and believing your side of the story.
Well, in the book, they're called the others.
Instead
And
of
Martin is extremely aware of something called othering, something that humans do. You know, humans kind of biologically, we're like, okay, I'm me. This person is an other.
Right.
They're not part of my family. So I think he's highly aware of this, and he's already given us an example in the books of Jon Snow being the mediator between two cultures who are others to each other.
yeah,
So I think that's where he's building up to, that somehow these others are not so inhuman,
right.
and that they do have a culture, you know, and that they're people basically.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
so instead of like zombie,
yeah. Well, I mean they raise zombies, but
Those
they
are the
themselves
whites,
are
though,
these
right?
beautiful creatures who light bends weird on them, and they can bring the winter with them. Yeah, they're
vampires.
Maybe, something like that.
No, they were just in Seattle. Never mind.
But in the show they just had zero story. They were just bad guys, and that was honestly probably one of the most critical mistakes. I think.
Speaking back on Star Wars, because everything can relate back to Star Wars, like the Knights of Ren from the newest trilogy.
What Knights
like
of
they
Ren?
were kind of like them. They're just kind of there.
Yeah, I think they just didn't have time to get to them.
They didn't know what they wanted to do with them. But that's insane to me for Game of Thrones, because this is just like. Which I know they didn't want to overdo the magic too.
Of the show. The first images of the show are the White Walkers.
Right. And then they kind of go to the wayside to all this other stuff that's happening, which is why it would make so much sense for in the end, none of what happened mattered.
I saw this meme where it's like, if Tywin was around in season 8, and he's like, Cersei, you're going to marry the Night King.
Yeah. It would make sense.
Yeah.
But we've reached our
I'm sorry.
No, that's the thing. We could talk about this for another 3 hours like easily.
Sure.
But I would like to, in a future episode, bring up some more specific parts of that show.
Yes.
To focus on, because
That's fun.
I think as far as nerd culture goes, like Game of Thrones is a very interesting dichotomy of fans.
Plus, we got some new fantasy shows coming out that I'm looking forward to that we should all talk about at some point too.
Yes.
Shows that probably wouldn't be there if not for Game of Thrones. All the shows that spawned in its wake.
Rooster,
and there's
good.
We call that a teaser.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you
You
go.
feel
Love
teased?
teasers. They're my favorite.
Feel it.
Tease me.
Rant over.
Oh no, it's
No,
not.
rant paused.
Rant paused.
With a list of celebrity appearances, starting in order: Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Paul Simon, Kenny Rogers, James Ingram, Tina Turner, Billy Joel, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Dionne Warwick, Willie Nelson, Bruce Springsteen, Kenny Loggins, Steve Perry, Daryl Hall, Huey Lewis, Cyndi Lauper, Kim Carnes, Bob Dylan, and Ray Charles. That list of rosters of musical amazingness that just happened to happen right there, that is We Are the World.
I knew it.
We are the
children.
We are the ones who make a brighter day.
So let's start giving.
This song.
Give us all your money.
So we
Give us all.
so we can save Africa.
Children. We need a new version of that
No, we
today.
don't. Yeah, there's been 6.
Well, we need a new one.
The latest one that was done.
Marcus wants 7.
That's the thing. That's the thing that got me on this, honestly. And it's a weird shift, but welcome to my brain.
This is great.
I was listening to this version of it, which is the original version. It is the best version of it, in my opinion, just because you've got all these amazing vocal talents and all these just superstar voices that are on there, just blending and melding together and combining their own duets and different things like that. I mean, it's awesome.
Like, what is this song?
The song is "We Are the World, We Are the Children." It was a song that was made by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie for the charity to support Africa. It was just like a humanitarian effort. They were raising money to try to help Africa out. I think they ended up making $63 million from a single. This song was a single release.
That's amazing.
And they made $63 million. But in today's money, that is $147 million.
That's insane.
That's only been people.
That is insane.
Yeah, people are just a couple years older than me, and my inflation has changed that much for me. Yeah. But that song alone, it sold 20 million copies, physical copies.
Fiscal?
Like 40, like 45
copy.
records, like the single.
No, it was in 1985, so
okay.
that was all going to be divided out between like
8-track and vinyl and
all the things.
All
that
the-
were
So that is a complete like
Blu-ray.
of all the ways you could. Yeah. Blu-ray, MP3.
But it was the first commercial multi-platinum selling song. It went quadruple platinum.
platinum is when you sell
$1 million.
$1 million. Okay.
Yeah. It was the first one to ever get past that. So that was pretty cool. It got 3 Grammys, 1 American Music Award, and 1 People's Choice Award. So I mean, it did a lot of things. It was a humongous shift. But the thing is, I was thinking the same thing Marcus just said. We need a new one of those. we need something to brighten up this time and then try to help, save America. Because we're really not as bad as Africa still is. So don't get me wrong on that. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying, they redid it with Instagram and YouTube influencers.
No, gross. I don't want to see it. Sorry, we need to do a death metal version.
That would be dope. But that's the thing, like these artists, that entire list of artists you just named, at that time, those were the ones people were looking up to, like the masses that almost every age group could see as someone important.
We still recognize them today.
They were exactly like they're historic, but now it's what's good now, and then in a year the influencers and everyone that kids look up to. I sound like such a stupid boomer, but
you're not wrong.
But I'm not wrong because
I'm not disagreeing with the thing you've said yet.
As an influencer and as kids are in the younger generations looking up to, it's very what are you doing now. And it's not lasting like a lot of these names.
It's a trend on Instagram or Twitter,
and that's how we receive all this information. It's very I'm seeing it now, and then it's going away, and I'm on to the next thing. But whenever this song came out, and all these artists, they were so well known for such a long amount of time, and it's still standing that way. And I don't think we'll ever get something like this again. Like, it doesn't matter how many times it's remade with who's popular. 10 years later, after the song is made, a lot of those artists, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember them kind of. And it's not going to be anything compared to what this song can do.
And that was what was getting me just super hyped, because I think Dane was in the living room with me whenever I had the revelation that I wanted to talk about this, because I got to thinking, like, this song is very old at this point. It would be considered a classic antique car at this point, but it's resonance.
A car from the 80s is an antique car now?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
40?
I'm an antique car. Yeah.
That's a trend we need to get rid of. Is right now everybody wants to go back and try to catch lightning in a bottle again.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not going to be as good as the original. It's never going to be as good as the original.
Yeah. And but just listening to that song in the living room, and just still getting goosebumps from the way that these iconic voices, meld together, and the way that they just, they're delivering the exact same lines, but in their own renditions. And Steve Perry, lead singer from Journey, like, he's one of my favorite singers of all time. And when he gets in there and has his own signature lick in it, I'm just like, but there's also another thing about it that makes it fantastic, and whose
this
time
is the real conversation.
Is this what this was all about?
Yes, it actually was. All this good and all this great, and
was
all
for this.
And then Bob Dylan
moment.
came.
Bob Dylan.
Oh.
Because you've got all these amazing voices. There's a choice we're making. But you got Bob Dylan.
Did a choice we make it. We say, but I love life. It's true to make a better day than you and me.
That's beautiful.
It's. I'm gonna have to crank.
Sounded like a blend of that guy that did the Toy Story soundtrack too.
Tim Allen?
Tim Burton.
Are you talking about You Got a Friend in Me?
Yes.
That's Randy Newman.
Yes.
Randy Newman.
But
I hate you.
Bob Dylan, no matter how great of a lyricist he was, the man could not sing
Never.
to save his life. No. And I know that's a thing, because there's some bands that people really enjoy. Can I name one? No. But just take this general statement that the vocals aren't really very good at all.
Green Day.
There's a difference about... Sure.
Yes, I agree with you.
They don't have good vocals.
No, I don't like Green Day at all. But there's
Not bad.
there's this like...
I've heard a lot worse.
Oh,
Anyway, go
yeah.
ahead.
Like...
Shattered.
How dare you?
Dad, don't get me.
That's your band. What was that? I keep forgetting what I'm saying.
I'm so good at this.
I know, you're really good at it.
I am Winston.
There is a That's a New Girl reference. If you haven't seen New Girl, it's a.
I take all the
show.
sexual chemistry out of the room.
There was a lot before he said that too. This room is just
Do I need
emanating.
to put my
with
shirt
it
back
right
on?
now. Absolutely not.
We're all in our underwear right now, actually. We just got through doing something really exciting, and we can't be too loud. So we got to just get into our underwear.
You did it again. I had my thought.
I'm so good at this.
I thought ready.
You got to collect them.
Vocal, everyone. It's like
Trash vocals.
Well, yeah, but it's also like beauty is also in the eye of the beholder as well. So
Sure.
like audio works the same way.
Yeah.
To an extent.
He doesn't create a pleasant audio
No,
experience.
it
from
doesn't.
ear
But there
holes.
is also this there's a fandom of that kind of sound, and I don't understand it. But
How do you not understand that?
well, at all. I don't understand it at all. But so I get that you. I'm not saying you if you like him, you're wrong. I'm just saying when you compare his ability, vocal ability,
To Aretha
to this
Franklin?
list, to what?
Aretha Franklin?
Urethra Franklin?
There's some holes in your story, right? Real quick. What do you?
Holes?
Yeah, when you get to the end of the show,
Shia
there's some
LaBeouf.
holes.
It's a whole episode on Shia
Yellow
LaBeouf.
spotted lizards.
Oh, okay. We're getting
No,
we're doing
it's
our
okay.
thing that we do.
It's okay. But the Bob Dylan thing, he really wrecks the song for me right there. But it's I love it now because I know. Okay, here comes it. I'm gonna make fun of Bob Dylan.
Get it to us, we'll make it.
It is our favorite part of the song.
But there's a redemption. Like we talked about how there is no redemption in all this stuff. But today, there is always redemption for that song at the end when the angelic voice of Ray Charles.
Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles in a. Okay, yeah, you're there.
Just that gruff, just that baritone, and he just saves it, man.
I've probably already played the song at some point while we've been talking about it, like a little snippet, a legal snippet of the song. But if I haven't, I'll do it now.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own life. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me.
I probably already did it though.
I know, but I just want either the little bit of Ray Charles's voice or a little bit of Bob Dylan's.
If I can
or
get
a
them
little bit
both
of
in there under the time limit, I'll just do it 3 times speed, and we'll just blast through the whole song.
What if it sounds good that way?
What if that's the 7th way?
Yeah, there's a new message to the song if you play it like that.
Oh gosh.
If you play it backwards, the devil's talking the whole time.
And he says, down.
And that is, I gave Bob Dylan herpes. my Satanese is a
already
little
had it.
off. But,
Poor Bob.
yeah,
Poor Bob.
that's fine.
Do you think he liked to go by Dylan or Bob?
Oh, he does have 2 first names.
I don't know. Let me text him.
You have him on text.
Well, most
Snapchat.
I just email them. Most of these guys are just their name at gmail.com.
I've never tried this.
Yeah, don't trust one that's like at Rocket Dog or anything like that.
No Hotmail.
Rocket Mail? No, is it Rocket Mail or Rocket Dog?
You can trust it when it's msn.com.
Thank you.
What's another one? Let's just spit some more off. AOL,
Yahoo?
Yahoo.
Can we say Yahoo?
I don't think legally we can.
I don't think we can either.
Huh.
Just like we can't tag the chive in anything.
We can't tag them?
Chive. There's another website. Give me some more. Give me some more websites. I need more.
Facebook.
I need another. There's a website.
Blue milk.
Yeah, blue. Oh yeah, that's a very niche one.
Steak and cheese.
You're just saying
We're
things.
ringing it.
Children don't.
We're stopping now.
No.
That's enough websites.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, the song, if you've never heard it, and we've now played you a snippet of it, maybe. Future Dane, have I already done that? I don't know. If I haven't, I'll do it now.
Ask past Dane. I wanted to ruin it.
Okay. I probably already played it. Oh, man. Go
Now
to...
play it backwards.
Go to our website, bestfriendstinygeek.com.
No more websites.
And if you don't, what's the name of any more websites?
We got rid of them?
Dang it.
We're breaking our own rules.
And if you don't want to do that, over on Twitter, you can go to @nerdgrapevine. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. I'm not going to make you do any of that stuff.
I heard you
Marcus
rehearsing.
just flipped every one of you off. For that,
I'm going to tell them.
For that, I'm going to
tell
direct. I'm going to direct the closing at you just for that.
Marcus flipped you off, and I'm telling them that you practiced saying our Twitter handle and the website while you're pooping.
Yes.
I've heard you saying it to yourself while you're grunting.
It's
echoing
all,
throughout
it's all
the bathroom.
happening in the restroom. All
Best
of it.
friends, Donnie.
Best present, future in our culture.
Oh yeah, brother.
No, we already said we can't do that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We already talked about this.
How do we end this thing? How do we normally end this thing?
You- When life gives you lemons, or life gives you grapes.
You lemon.
Did I do it?
That's wrong. I guess that's how the cookie crumbles.
This is what happens when I don't.
You can't. He's flipping the world off.
Oh, this ending is falling apart. Marcus,
Just go.
end it,
Listen,
because I
I don't know
can't
which button to
anymore.
push.
It's the it's the red circle. Just press the red circle.
When life gives you grapes.
Bye.
Push the red.